Hello. Hi. It is I, Quentin. Yeah. Okay. All right. Enough of that shit. So, look, last video I made, I said that I was gonna try and go over solar ignitions a little bit better. Um, again, right? I'm gonna try and make a bit of a flow chart here. Scorch, right? I don't have an over arrow. Let's do this. I'm smart. Haha. Scorch leads to ignition. Okay. All right, you're following. What makes up Scorch? Right? What makes up Scorch is what is used to scorch and scorch percentage out of 100. What does that mean? We'll get to it with the grenades in just a second here. Okay? Then, what is ignition? Right? It is what caused Scorch and getting to 100% Scorch. It's just that simple. Okay? So that's the flow chart. That's how this works. Alright? So let's do this because it looks pretty. Alright, so the very simple way to look at this, and I think I mentioned this at the end of the last video, is whatever you scorch with will cause, I know I spelled what wrong, whatever, okay? I'm here to teach you destiny, not how to spell. Whatever you use to scorch first will be what causes the amount, will cause whatever damage you get out of your ignition. So I actually should revise this. What caused scorch? What caused initial scorch? And I have examples. Where are you? Bam. This thing. Okay. So this first one is Scorch with base grenade damage. Watch, bam, 20k. I know it's hard to follow, I will let you know, that's why I'm doing this right here. This was the first one I did. This is just the gun damage. That was 9k. Oh my god, this is really bad actually. I shouldn't have fucked that up. So 20k versus 9k. Can I pause this? Yes, I'm smarticle. Okay. So 20k versus 9k, which means we can place it here, right? So non-buff grenade was 20k ignition, right? And then non-buff um, weapon was 10k ignition, right? Can I do it? Can I do it? I'm smarticle. I'm good. There we go. Now this one is going to be buffed gun damage. The difference between this one and the last one is that I'm using the um, heavy machine guns splash damage from the trait incandescent. Here I have proc Scorch because you get a kill with incandescent and then it spreads Scorch to other targets. And now all of this Scorch I do is just to get me to 100% of the increased gun damage I got from getting a melee kill. As you can see, the heavy-handed melee cooldown. When I got the melee kill, I got a damage increase on all of my solo weapons for X amount of time. So now, our gun damage equals, or our ignition damage equals 22k. Look, if I just paused it, maybe I would be able to do cooler stuff. So it was, so buffed gun damage is 22k. So we get different numbers now. Ooh, fancy. I know what I'm talking about a little bit. Only a little bit, though. Alright, see? That 20k. I think I have one more. This is base melee damage, so I haven't done anything to buff my melee damage. This Titan melee causes Scorch. I don't know how much off the top of my head, but it causes Scorch. And then I just keep shooting them with this to get to 100% Scorch. And we hit 20,000. All the extra 20Ks are from the other poor saps that was next to him. So, buffed. Oh, no. Sorry. Non-buffed melee. Bro, my spelling's terrible. Melee damage is also 20k. If you notice, the ability damage is about the same, and that's based off like background Bungie shit, which basically has a specific scaler on all ability damage, which means that no matter what you do, if you do ability damage to start Scorch, it will give the same amount of Scorch in every situation that has the same level structure. That made it sound really complicated. If you're in a regular lost sector, you're gonna do X amount of Scorch with your grenade or melee. It doesn't really matter if you start with your grenade or melee. If you buff one of those, then it should change, right? Which should be what we see here, which is why I'm also doing extra stuff in this video, because I don't think it's working properly. This exotic gives you increased melee damage. That's what the Burning Fist is after you get a melee kill. As long as that bar is up, I should have, what, like 5 or 10% more melee damage. And I start the Scorch the same way I've been starting it the whole time with the melee. You just seen it. I hit a melee. So now I just tag him with this until he explodes, and then 20k. Bungie, what the fuck? You can't even see my furious, angry nerd typing. Buffed melee damage is also 20k for some reason. Again, I don't understand what Bungie's doing here. I think that's all of the examples I had, because after that I was like, what the it took me like an hour to get all this shit. So yeah, I was pretty pissed about it, and I don't really know why it's doing that. You might hear my daughter in the background. I'm sorry, my kids are playing. That's what they do. Anyways, despite the fact that I went through this whole rigmarole, the core concept stays the same and should adjust. If nothing else changed, at least the gun damage portion changed, which is good. Which means if you're using the trait Incandescent, which I will pause so I can show you the trait. Ooh, movie magic. Ooh. Anyways, if the trait Incandescent, this is enhanced because it's a crafted weapon, and I crafted it because of course I did once I got a machine gun with incandescent. Anyways, defeating a target spreads a longer lasting scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause scorch in a larger radius. So, if you have this trait, you can use it to start your scorch. Now, I will start giving you numbers. Don't panic. Don't panic. The numbers will be in the video for you to pause and come back to or whatever. I don't remember all of them either, and I hate it. This is why you need a degree in Scorchology. So, base Incandescent gives you 30 Scorch. Enhanced Incandescent gives you 35 or 40? I think it's 40. I think it gives you 40 Scorch. Excuse me. That means that you have to get all the way to 100 on something quickly afterward to get an ignition. Now again, Scorch by itself is good. It's a pretty good amount of Scorch. It's going to last for a while. All that's cool. But you really want the big boom, in my opinion. More movie magic. Give me a second. Ooh, movie magic. That boy is good. All right, so firebolt grenades. Hold on, wait. It's not. Give me a second to fix it. Bam. All right. Fixed it. So, firebolt grenades. These are a type of grenade, obviously. You can hit up to 4 enemies within a 8.5 meter, within 8.5 meters of impact. It does 20 Scorch per Seeker. It makes a little line and it hits people, okay? It's not a lot of Scorch, but it is on a really low cooldown, which just means that if you somehow have some way to proc 80 plus more Scorch, then this is a good way to just kind of keep that shit rolling. I think numerically speaking, if you were to have a group of about 3 enemies, you kill 2 and then throw a firebolt, they will ignite. But this again, and lies the problem with Scorch, and ignitions and whatnot for me. That's a lot of work. But I digress. Not all of them are this hard. We're gonna move on now. Fusion grenades. Now these, you throw it, they stick on surfaces and people on the impact, and they explode. It does 40 Scorch on detonation. I forgot to mention a second ago. Let me go back real quick. The plus 10 that you see here at the top, that comes from when you add a specific fragment. We'll go over that fragment whenever I start doing fragment stuff. But whenever you add a specific fragment, Ember of Ashes, it gives you more Scorch per Scorch. So it just makes it easier to get the boom, right? Alright, so fusions do 40, plus 20. They stick on the people, which makes them really nice. These have a pretty short cooldown and were super meta for a while for Warlocks, but they nerfed the exotic that helped them, so we don't really use that shit anymore unless you just really need to use it. For this case, for this scenario, I'm pretty sure that if you're running Ember of Ashes, you could kill one, throw a fusion grenade, and then get a explosion, which is pretty good now that I think about it. But it's still like 2 different things you gotta do, which again, I'm just not into that, dude, to be honest with you. Alright. Healing Grenade. I have a whole bunch of shit on the screen because I used this already. Basically, Healing Grenade is just to heal you. It gives you Cure upon throwing it if you land it like right at your feet, or your teammates' feet, actually. It tracks pretty good to your teammates. And it gives you Restoration, which just gives you healing over time, which means you're basically immortal if you use it properly. Next, Grenade. I know that how sexy that... Oh my god, look at that fixed odds, dude. And all those kills. 3,000... Okay, let me stop. Alright, sorry. So, Incendiary Grenade. This is like your basic frag grenade. This is like in every fucking video game, okay? You throw it, it bounces once, twice, depending on the situation, and then explodes quickly. This does a lot of Scorch. 60 Scorch by itself. With Ember of Ashes, it does 90 Scorch. This thing alone can cause ignitions out the ass, dude. This thing just needs just a tiny, tiny bit of help, and then ignition time. It's also very, very, very strong if you land it right underneath something, but that has a bit of a skill gap, and it does have a moderately long cooldown. So if you were really just like I'm really worried about landing these shots, I would just go with the fusion grenade. That would be the base one. You're worried about landing your grenades at all, the fusion grenade. And I do think this is maybe like 3rd on the totem pole. Speaking of on the totem pole here, we have swarm grenades. These things suck. You throw them out, and they do what it sounds like. It's a little swarm of little bastards. They have really low cooldown, but they do almost no scorch. I'm not even gonna go over it. You can read it, nigga. It's terrible. Okay, I even get close up so you can see how ass this thing is. It does travel toward things, but actually that's a detriment because it doesn't immediately just explode if something's on it. It goes after it, which is very annoying. I hate it. No more time is going to be spent on this. Let's move on. Trip mine grenade. No, I'm sorry. Thermite grenades. These grenades travel in a line. I don't really know why it's called thermite, but I don't know. They're probably running out of names. It does 4 waves. Each wave does 10 Scorch plus 10 if you have an Ember of Ashes. This does a lot of damage. You do have to throw it in front of the opponent. The initial burst does more damage than the rest of them, but it's really good at like throw it at a door and then you just say you can't come through this door, you're dead, nigga. What else? I mean, that's about it. Its cooldown is a bit longer. Pretty much when we went... Holy shit, hold on, wait. Sorry, my daughter is a bit sickly, and she's a bit upset about being slightly sickly. She needed some attentions. But anyways, pretty good grenade. Not super viable once we went from the previous style of subclass trees to what we have now. These things basically became extinct. Trip mine grenades, the formal hunter special. Anyways, you throw these, it sticks to surface. You can actually throw it on the wall. In D1 it was so much better because it would always be flat to the wall, whatever, but now it like lands janky and it's very annoying. It does moderate damage. It has an okay cooldown. It does a moderate amount of Scorch. I don't know. This is not a PvE thing. I think the only time it was good was on a specific build, and then they nerfed that into the ground for PvP, so there's almost no reason to run this shit. Yeah. And those are your grenades, actually, funny enough. You can see images here as we move forward. You have your incendiary grenade, again, your swarm grenade, oh, I didn't have solar. Where's my solar grenade? Give me a second. I'm gonna find that. All right, so you don't know this, but it's been a lot longer than I think it should have been. Hey, look, just gonna do this shit live. Watch. Circle grenade, bro. Bam. Look at it. Gaze into its eyes. Yeah, this is the circle screw you grenade. Oh yeah, thingies. Second, again, hold on, I can do this. Bam, did it live. I'm the GOAT. So, um, it makes the little circle deal. You throw it, and on detonation, which just means as soon as it lands, it does 11 Scorch plus 10 with Ashes to assets, and then 9 plus 5 Scorch at the end of the duration for every second that the enemy stood inside. I don't know. It sounds really complicated to me. I almost never get ignitions with this thing by itself. So my recommendation would be to throw this thing if you're looking for damage. If you're looking for ignitions, you need a different grenade. That being said, I think that we did pretty good today, other than my little mishap here at the end. Um, yeah, I think that should do it for the grenades, and that should do it for my explanation of Scorch, um, and ignitions and how they work and how they should work. Bungie, fuck. Um, Next I'm gonna be going over the different melees and the special, so the special uh, Titan, Warlock, and Hunter class abilities that are on Solar. And then we'll do an overview of fragments. Actually, we'll do aspects, and then we'll do fragments. I'll try and wrap all that up in like one video that's like less than 20 minutes. That shouldn't take too long because most of these things are pretty self-explanatory. Hunter's the only one that has like this weird specific thing going on. But yeah, later.